Ukraine says its troops in Russia have progressed further and that they've now captured over 100 Russian servicemen. It's the biggest foreign incursion into Russia since the Second World War, and today saw the extraordinary sight of a Ukrainian war correspondent reporting from inside Russia. Ukraine's incursion began just over a week ago and took Moscow by complete surprise. Despite claims of territorial gains, Ukraine insists it's not interested in taking over Russian territory. Russia claims it's stopped any further advances. In a moment, we'll hear from our Russia editor, Steve Rosenberg, about how dangerous a moment this is for President Putin. But first, our Ukraine correspondent, James Waterhouse, joins us from the Sumy region on the border with Russia. James.
Rita, there is something strange going on in Ukraine. We're seeing President Zelensky go from describing difficult circumstances on the front line to having very choreographed public briefings. He's almost dictating proceedings, his terms for peace down the line, something Russia has done until this point, really, for the large part of its full-scale invasion. His logic is that this cross-border attack will bring peace closer, but strangely it feels further away because of the intense fighting that has broken out. Nevertheless, this operation is continuing to gain Western support, most recently from European allies.
No border checkpoint on this crossing to Russia, just a burnt-out Russian tank. A different assignment for Ukrainian war reporter Natalia Nahorna. This is a historic moment, she tells the camera in the city of Sudzha. Such a claim might be premature, but Ukraine is talking up this land grab while it can. It's providing humanitarian aid and organising evacuations. There are even plans to set up military offices. But on the battlefield, success always comes at a cost, as this injured soldier attests.
Fear, adrenaline. You realize when you enter their territory how much we have suffered, how much our women and children have suffered. That now it's their turn.
The head of Ukraine's armed forces is having even more regular meetings with the president.
Since the beginning of today, troops have advanced around 1 to 2 kilometers in some directions.
After the body blow of losing territory, Russia is now moving resources to try and take it back. As fighter bombers drop glide bombs on Ukrainian forces on its own soil, Kyiv today claimed to have shot one of them down. The Su-34s are thought to be £30 million each. Kyiv is trying to change the politics of this war by shaking up the fighting itself. It's certainly done the latter. James Waterhouse, BBC News, Sumy region.
It feels like Ukraine's incursion is changing the equation and putting the Kremlin under pressure. A brief appearance today by President Putin, but no comment on the Ukrainian assault, which his troops are struggling to repel. The Russian military released these images, claiming to show it targeting Ukrainian troops in Kursk region. Moscow blames the West, too, for the incursion.
When I studied in the United States, the main rule was don't poke the bear. The West, what the West is doing today, they are poking the bear.
The public sense of shock is growing. I feel incredible anxiety, Yulia says, as if my hands are tied, because there is nothing I can do about this. It's frightening to see the images of people panicking, Tatiana says, of people being evacuated. For some here, what is happening in southern Russia is a wake-up call.
Over the last 2.5 years, many Russians have tried not to notice what is happening, to get on with their lives, to pretend that there's no war. But with what's happening now in southern Russia, not noticing is no longer an option.
Especially here in Kursk. It's the air raid siren, she says. Get inside fast. Ukrainian soldiers haven't reached this city, but no one here knows what lies ahead. Tens of thousands of Russians have fled the fighting in the border area. Some have taken refuge in Kursk. Viera left home in such a rush she had no time to pack. I've nothing but the clothes on my back, she says. I'm looking for something warm. The Kremlin insists it will achieve its aims in this war. Russians are wondering when. Steve Rosenberg, BBC News, Moscow.